Hello, guys. Okay, today I'm gonna talk about revenge. So, I think it's something that I've been want to talk about, but so for me, my personally, and the truth, revenge is for stupid people. You have to be very stupid for you to do revenge. Whether your stupidity, it comes with the fact that you're still young, you are immature, or whatever. But like, revenge is definitely something that has to do with people who are actually stupid, people who are not in touch with who they are. They disconnected from their soul, because eventually, people who do revenge, they're doing it from a place of ego. We all have ego, but sometimes people can't shut down their ego. They tend to operate from it for the rest of their life. So revenge is just for stupid people, because the thing is, are you going to do people dirty just because other people did you dirty? Are you just gonna be like me just make example, you know, in this lifetime, there are plenty of people that you're gonna meet who just gave up on life from way young, probably the age of 8, the age of their teenagers, the age of their 20s. They just gave up. They gave up on life. They gave up on being truthfully. They gave up on being genuine. So all along they're wearing masks. Some they realize like early as 5 that I'm actually evil, but I'm just gonna wear mask so that people won't see that. So there's just people who operate from that mentality, who operate from the fact that they have to be so mean. To them, it's a fucking accomplishment to hate people. It's an accomplishment for them to be mean to other people. It's accomplishment to go around and hating other people, because to them it means power. Sometimes we're thinking like maybe like they're being influenced by probably a environment they grow up into whatsoever. Sometimes that can be a case to come across people who are actually revengeful, but sometimes you can just tell that some have like a potential to change. They have a potential to be better. They have a potential for the fact that uh, I can be better than where I was. I can be better than my parent. I can be better than whoever that they came across who were actually revengeful. I remember once I came across this girl in university. I asked her, "Why are you angry?" And she was like, "Oh, I'm angry because my ex played me." I'm like, okay, that's actually understandable, because eventually when you're breaking up with someone who actually hurt you, it's okay to be angry. So it's not like a feeling that you're supposed to suppress or anything. So I'm just huge in you being on the tick to your own feelings. Huge you to be you on the tick self. So I understand that. So when I started to understand when she ended up like talking more about what exactly took place, and she started telling me that I she was like, it's just that I can't just express because I don't operate from that vibration, so I'm just gonna try to remember exactly what she said. She was like, nobody play me and get away with it. And initially you were thinking like, until like yeah, once you study tone of people, because the people don't understand tone itself. It has like it volume, it has it message. So once you understand people's tone, sometimes people's tone about whatever that they want to do, it make you uncomfortable, not because it like the way loud or anything like that. It can be just their tone. You can tell that their soul, this is their core, this is what happening to their soul. This is something, the message from their soul. It's, you can just tell by their tone this person is actually evil. Like, you don't have to raise a voice, they don't have to do anything. Once she told me that nobody get away with hurting me or whatsoever when I'm actually like done with it. One, obviously, like, I understand that a lot of people are still in contact with their ex, which for me, I'm like, what the fuck? Because I don't understand people who are friends with their ex, especially if they don't have a baby together, they don't have anything in common by besides the fact that they dated. The only thing that is actually common, you just know each other's genitals if you had sex with them. You just know each other's genitals and history. That's it. But people who don't evolve, they have that mentality that they have to keep their ex around because they have believing that they're keeping your ex. They're saying that saying you have to keep your enemies close, blah blah blah, which is BS. Like it's a fucking BS. So initially I was like, why she's still friend with her ex? Because I don't understand people who are friends with their ex. Because even if you have a kids together, it's rare to find people who are friends when they're actually ex, unless they still have feelings for each other. So eventually, like she's like, nobody get away with it. I don't know the details and everything. So I was like, okay, okay, but her tone, I was like, she's like, the tone, like her tone, like it just does something to my body. I just knew this person is actually evil. But you know, when you are not trusting your gut feeling, you tend to just make excuses about people's behavior, about their tone, but you will never forget their tone. Like you never. That's why you just know when people are telling you the truth. Besides looking at them in their eyes, you can just tell by their tone this person is actually evil. So she's like, nobody get away with it, blah 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 blah. And I was like, okay. In her mind, she believed that if you hurt her, I'm just gonna hurt you back. And I was like, maybe like she's immature because I was trying to make excuses with something that I see that I actually can feel. This is not who they are, but you know, you just want to see the good in everyone. So you tend to just want to make excuses for their behavior and everything. So yeah, and I was like, okay. And eventually I found that this actually girl is that type of a person that actually sleep with their exes despite the fact that they're in a new relationship. Because the thing is, what I realized with the people that I came across, they always trying to mirror my personality. They always try to act like that, doing exactly like me. Always try to act like they have the same philosophy, whatsoever. But the thing is, they always reveal themselves like the mask. You can't wear the mask forever. They always try, like they always try, this is me, blah blah blah. Obviously they study me before they try to act like they're exactly like me. Sure, the bitch try to act like me, eventually he must fall off. Because I found out, like I was like, we know when someone tell you like I'm not a cheating type, be like, oh, because you're not a cheating type, like, oh yeah, I'm not a cheating type too. So you'll be like, oh yeah, because you do that. You don't like, you don't operate from a low vibrational state whereby you just have to just be a dick, you know, whatsoever. So she was trying to mirror that. I was like, you know, when someone's telling you something and you'll be like, there's something's off, but you just know that something's off, but you just don't know what is off. You just know something's off with whatever they're saying. So I found out in a way, one of the weirdest way, because I happened to have a girl that actually know her. She was like, can't like, can you help me with something? I was like, what is it? What, I just want to fetch my friend. She's drunk and everything whatsoever. And then when she opened the door, and I was like, fuck, this girl, I saw her with her man, and then now she's like, I'm like, you know, that how sometimes like things happen. So people who wear masks always have a way of showing up. So people who are doing revenge, there are people just born to just be mean to people, who are actually born to believe that they don't have another way out. They just in the dark. They don't see any light in them, in whatever. So they believe that they have to mean, oh, just because my parent died, every people who I come across, I'm gonna hate them. Do you know that some people can actually date you just because they're jealous of the fact that you are coming from a family that is actually wealth? And you'll be like, there's no way, like there's no way. They believe that they have to hate you. How dare you can be born in a family that is actually have a stable home whereby you don't have to start from scratch. Initially I used to think people date people who actually rich for whatever reason. It can be because they love each other. It can be any kind of reason. But I've never like put my mind in the fact that people can date you just because they're envious of the fact that you coming from a wealthy home. They believe how God can give you that. How can God give you a loving partner? How can God do this? How can a parent make your parents still alive while my parent I'm not alive? How can, like, they always have like a shittest perspective. So trying to revenge from someone who believe that they have to be mean to other people is just like silly. It's just stupid. I don't believe in revenge. I've never like revenge people who done me wrong. But I also noticed something that yes, some revenge are actually divinely guided. When I say, which is rare, which is extremely rare, because some people, like, I remember I came across like a guy that I used to know, so which I rejected. So obviously, when people are rejected, not all people actually respond the same way to rejection. Some they believe that I have to, like, I don't understand, like for him, his reaction to my reject, he was like, oh, everyone who actually ever rejected me, they will be so sorry the fact that they actually like rejected me. And I knew that he's talking to me, so I was like, oh, good luck with that. Obviously, I said that within myself because I was like, I can tell this person is gone, like it's all gone. So when like it happened, like that I actually saw him this year, and obvious, like I like, do you know those people who ended up like breaking with someone, they're trying to make the person they break up with to be jealous of. And I like, I've never understand the kind of mentality like, okay, now I'm just gonna date someone else to make you see that I am the shit. Like, if you are a shit, if you are that girl, if you are that alpha man, if you are that, you're not gonna do that. That shit is actually low vibrationally. How can you text someone who has nothing to do with whatsoever that happened between you two guys? What happened to both of you guys? You are gonna take them just because you want to be spiteful towards your ex, which I like. How can you just make someone go through pain for the fact that you broke up with your ex, or maybe you are using the person to make your ex jealous so that he will come back trolling back to you? Like this happened a lot. Like, to me, my ex tried that strategy, and I was like, oh my god. Like, do you know when someone, you feel sorry for them just because of the way how their mind operate, how they view it? Like, I don't understand people trying to make people jealous, people that you don't have anything that you actually want with them, that you don't want anything with them, you don't care whatsoever. You just like, I'm focusing on being better. I just hate how I responded to whatever situation. I hate how I responded to the relationship. I hate the fact that I entertained the person. Like, you just in that energy, like, whereby you want to improve yourself, you just want to improve you yourself personally. So because you're trying to find out what went wrong, because eventually when you're actually in a union with someone, whether it's a friendship whatsoever, it's okay. Like, you have a responsibility to reflect why you allow that person, why did you entertain that person. You might be not a bad guy in a situation. I'm not looking for a good guy, a bad guy, any kind of situation. But yes, sometimes that can happen to, like, you being a good guy and them being a bad guy. So I'm just like looking at, like, you have to be in a position whereby you have to be honest with yourself. Like, you know what? I might have dated this person, but I need to be honest with myself. Why my low self esteem was so fucking low? Why did I have to entertain this person? Why did I stay to, like, you have like a fucking thing like to look at. You have to, even if that means like you doing it like it's a fucking exam whereby you're reflecting on yourself, like, you know what, I fuck up because of this. So, like, if I had like at I have this lifetime right now, right? So if I revenge everybody who did me wrong, I don't think I'll be where I am. If I revenge anyone who fucked up, who fucked me up without me fucking them up, like I wouldn't be here. I wouldn't even be making this video. I wouldn't be doing anything with my life. I will be just bitter. Probably I will be in drugs or something, because that's how most of the time people I've realized who are revengeful, they are somehow codependent on something that is actually extremely, that is actually destructive toward them, because it's usually not a healthy habit to be revengeful. Like you think like, oh, I can do it, but it's like you are digging your own hole. You are putting yourself in a fucking coffin. You are just dead. Because I wouldn't be here. I wouldn't have the fucking wisdom that I'm actually sharing if I choose to respond the way I choose to respond. You are just like in a cycle. It's the same thing with that girl. She hates her exes, but she still sleep with them. She still sleep with them. She's just in this dark cycle. She doesn't see that they actually, like, you know, when you're asking someone, you just want to understand where does this pain of being revengeful come from, and you just asking them, you just want to understand, and you'll be like, okay. The sad part, they don't even see the fact that there's something's wrong with their how they responded to whatever. Because the thing is, life happens. Things will happen to you. A lot of things. Sometimes you things like you'll be like, I didn't do that person like that. Like you would just like, but you don't have to respond the same way that they're actually responding. You don't have to. Some people like they treat their life around the fact that I'm just gonna look for people who actually kill. Like I'm just making an example. Like it's happened a lot in movies. But I understand sometimes you're doing it because you want answers, you want closure, whatsoever. But some people, it may make it like it's a fucking, like their life is evolving around it. I get it. Sometimes our pain will be our greatest evolution. It will be our greatest way of finding out what exactly our soul purpose has to do, because our pain is what whereby we tend to make a lot of changes. We understand, you know what, this is a career that's gonna work for me because I went through that. But your trauma is supposed to not to be like your life is around it, you know. So I understand, like maybe for example, I saw my grandmother passing, and I noticed that the first, like the daughters were not available because I grew up in a small village. So I wanted to be available for people like you just know that, okay, now I just want to be a doctor because of whatever happened to you. So yeah, that can happen. Like you can take cover, like, but some people like from a young age, they'll be like, I need to find out the person who actually killed my parent, and as they kill my parent, they don't have any other plan. Like they don't have any other plan beside finding out people who killed my parent. I'm gonna kill them, and then that's it. And then they're back on it. They realize all along the revenge was actually like only thing that pushed them to be better. Like it's only thing that pushed them to be better in terms of like not like better like or like it pushed them to have energy, because the only thing they think about it was revenge, revenge, revenge. And then when they done their revenge and realize like life is not even about that, but they don't know how to reflect back on that. So they ended up in a situation whereby they don't know how to forgive themselves, they don't know how to move about, they don't know exactly who they are. Some like that's why you find them being codependent on something, that is substance. It can be drugs, alcohol, whatever. It can be sex, like any codependent issue whereby people actually feel like they can't go on without this, without that, and they have to numb the pain in order for them to move on. Not that they are moving on, it's more like I can go on about a day without thinking about it. But at night, I'm sure you do think about it. You fucking do. Because it's not like every day you're gonna be able to sleep at 10 and wake up at 7 or 6, whatever time that you choose to wake up on. Sometimes you're gonna wake up at 3. I remember when I had a heartbreak. Oh, that heartbreak, it was one of the most like your heartbreak is one of the most like it can come in many ways. So because friendship can break your heart. So I was like you know what, I'm gonna drink at 12 a.m. I'm just gonna have wine at 12 a.m. or I'm gonna have a cider at 12 a.m. so that I'll be able to sleep. I won't have to think about that motherfucker that fucked me up. Because eventually you'll be like, who the fuck do we think they are? Have you ever like been in like in your thoughts and everything out of the blue? You'll be like, who the fuck that motherfucker think she was? Who the fuck that does he think he is? Like you'll be like think about the words that they said. I'm like, getting pissed and all that. So sometimes that thing can happen. But for me, it was like a heartbreak. And then I thought like I'm just gonna be smart about it. I'm just gonna drink it at 12 a.m. I'll be sleeping like 1, 2, and then 3. I'll be just in the bathroom trying to vomit the shit out of, because I was like, I didn't drink alcohol because I love alcohol. I drink alcohol because I wanted to avoid whatever that was actually happening. Because I remember like when I started drinking alcohol, it was more like, okay, I'm pet. I just don't want to think about it because I need to focus on this. I just don't want to think about a heartbreak. I don't want to trample, blah, 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 the excuse that we make when you don't want to feel some pain that you actually expect, because it can be too much sometimes. So eventually, I just went for that option. By 3 a.m., I'll be up. 4 a.m., I'll be up. 5 a.m., I'll be up. 6 a.m., I was like, fuck it. Why people say alcohol make you forget shit? But I don't. Like, I fucking don't. I was like, you know what? I don't have other option besides facing it. Sometimes I do find myself in a situation where it is actually difficult and I just want to run and be like, running from what? For how long? So, because sometimes we do that. Like, we tend to run away from our own problems when it's too much, when it's this and when it's this. People just assume that everybody is perfect. I don't assume that. Like, I don't assume that, as much as I also understand that people, they don't always respond the same way into life. But the problem is, why are they bothered by the fact that you choose to have a different way of responding to whatever? You can like have a person who went through the same shit that you went through, and then they'll be jealous of the fact that you responded differently. Now they're trying to destroy you because you choose to respond differently the way compared to the way you responded. And all the time, it's the same people that have a problem with your philosophy. You'll be like, I don't think I would gain anything from revenge. I don't like doing revenge. It's just not my style. And they'll be bothered. But at the same time, they have like a lot of excuses and lying about the fact that revenge makes sense, blah, 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 blah. Because I know, bitch, you were fucking lying. And I was like, okay, I understand it's a phase, but sometimes people, it's not a phase. It's something that they will leave with it. It was something that they go about with their life. They don't understand the purpose of the fact that why you went through that pain, because eventually everything that you're gonna go through, it has a reason. And as painful as it has like a fucking reason. You'll understand why you went through it. Some people never understand that. They will continue with that energy. They will continue with whatsoever. You know what I've noticed, when like I'm sure you also notice, when you are a person who went through something and then you didn't understand the test, the universally test that actually God was actually testing you with this, you tend to attract the same situation. It's like the same thing with dating the same person and then ended up with another person who have the same soul, until you realize, oh fuck, this is where I'm actually messing it up. Oh, this is where I'm messing up. Some people don't have that. They don't try to connect the dot. Okay, I dated this person. I did it because I have this kind of issue that I need to address that I've been avoiding. They don't have that. They don't have a audacity to reflect. It has to be always, it's him. It's him who made me like that. It's him. It's him. Who, like, it's her. It's her. Oh, girls are bitches. Oh, whatsoever. Why are you dating bitches? Why don't you ask yourself that question? Wow, I can't be dating Annie. She's a hoe. I can't be dating Amanda. She was also a hoe. You don't see that there's something like a dynamic there. So you're gonna revenge Annie. You don't revenge Amanda. because or whatsoever, and the next woman that comes, you're gonna hate them because you believe that every woman is a whore. You don't sit your ass down and be like, fuck, because my mother was a fucking hoe. Because sometimes it's like that. Your mother was a hoe too, or maybe your mother was not there for you. Probably she was there physically, emotionally. She was way gone. She was gone. Her soul was gone. She was just that depressed woman, probably, who survived with alcohol. Maybe she was into alcohol, maybe she was too into drugs, maybe she was too in whatever. So we ended up meeting people who remind you of that. You ended up meeting people who want to be rescued. Probably you ended up having a behavior that, because I was a mother, I had to be a mother to myself. I had to be the truth. You managed to make that responsibility. You were able to respond with you knowing that you have to take care of yourself. You are responsible for your life, because you can tell the mother doesn't even love themselves. Because the thing is, as painful as it is, once you actually like, it's easy to forgive your parent, especially if you're in a situation where you like, you are actually looking at things in their own, in their perspective. Like you're like, oh, this is how who they are, and this is how they think, this is how they view life, this is how they actually like. You can for the first time, you will look at them, you realize they're still stuck in that. Their inner child is suppressed. They don't know anything beside what the surviving way of trying to live life. Through surviving, they adapt a most toxic behavior, which help them to survive as much as if they were. So trying to revenge them is just weird to me. You just have to let them be, because eventually people who are horrible, they always fuck them up. They're always gonna have a way of fucking them up. You just have a fucking responsibility to be better. It's either you're becoming better or bitter. So you looking at them in their perspective, you realize even the love that they carry, it's not a love that you wanted for yourself. It's, you just know it was too low vibrational for your liking, and you be like, nah, this is not the same shit that I actually want for myself. You just like, you demand high vibrational love, because love is high vibrationally. A lot of people like, I'm in a relationship, you can just tell from like, mm, 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 mm. But you're just gonna be like, okay, maybe they will learn something from this, because eventually you just need to shut up. Just because you're intuitive, you can see things that other people don't see. You are a seer or whatsoever. Just shut up. You don't have to voice your opinion. You just have to be like shut up. So most of the time that is a case, but sometimes you just know when you have to, like, dude, you're just a dickhead. Like, you need to be better. So yeah. So I with a revenge, I would say there are times where I realize that actually a revenge, it can be supported by your spiritual team. Like, there was a time that I had to respond, but obviously not the way that person wanted me to respond. Obviously, like, I always like shock people with the way I respond to their behavior, because for me, I just know we're immature, you are stupid. I have been stupid myself, but you are so fucking stupid to just have like a smear campaign, to trying to ruin my name, to slander my name, to try to have people in your gang whatsoever, like a group, like it's a fucking cult. People who operate from cults, they're just cowards. You have to be a fucking coward, that you have to just think you can face me with your flying monkeys. And the funny part, these flying monkeys don't even know the truth. They just have to hear everything that come out in your mouth without realizing you actually manipulating them to that. They have audacity of acting like the fucking victim. Then we victimize people and they end up like they're fucking victim. And they were like, yeah, this is way awful than I thought. And what I've realized, that people who actually revenge for, probably for the most of their life, they usually like there's nothing improving. There's nothing improving with their life. They exchange same people. Some they sleep with those people that they slept with, or they still around those friendship that they are actually fake with. They are around those people who are actually fake. So when you're a genuine person who respond with love, and you be like, okay, you are hurting me. I didn't do anything. I don't even need to do anything. You just have to just be hateful. You just have to be mean for no fucking reason. And then you respond. They expect you to respond the same way. Oh, you're hurting me. I'm just gonna hate you back. And when you're not responding that, they get triggered. Like, what exactly were you expecting? Like, what were you like? Like, there was actually a time that I had to hear, like I was in a position like where I had to hear someone was actually planning to ruin me. And like, I just pity them. Like, I had to pity them. Like, I had to, like, wow, this is how you actually think. Like, wow, like you can tell how they think it's painful, how they operate, it's painful. So they were like trying to obviously already like managed to slander my name, ruin my reputation, whatsoever. But you know what? They were talking to people that I've never like engaged with them. It's more like hi, hi, hi kind of conservation, and then I move. But I just know who to vibe with, who I don't need to vibe with. I just have that gut feeling that okay, this is it. So that was it. Like I had like a conservation, like it was planned a gigantic way to get like to I won't say get back to me because I didn't do anything. The only thing that I did, I just told him the truth. Like, dude, you need to like blah 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 blah. And then he was like, oh. And then he had this smear campaign. He tried to recruit these kids. The thing is with people, cult leaders, they tend to want to recruit the young ones who just don't see that bullshit. They recruit like you will find like a 7 year old trying to recruit a 20 year old, a 27-year-old, not their age. Have you ever wondered why they do that? It's because in their head they believe that the young ones, they can't see them. Sometimes that is the case. They can't really see that their cult leader as actually people that they need to avoid. They think like, oh, because they see a role model. They usually take advantage of the people who never like had experience, like for example, like a cult leader who's actually a man. He will go for children who never experienced love from their father, or maybe like they grew up with a single mother, because eventually those kids, they're hurting, right? They're hurting from a place where like they're looking for someone that they can look up to, especially if like they are meant to. They looking for people actually like they can look up to, and that this cult leader will take advantage of the fact that these kids are going through a phase where they're being they always search for people who are actually neglected. They always look for those people so that they can go in with them. So I like, when you actually hear a conservation and you be like you can just tell these people like obvious they're wicked, they're evil, but like the way they think is so fucking painful. Like it's so fucking painful. Like you even pity them, despite the fact they have like a gigantic thing how to do, and then it backfire. When it backfire, they assume you're doing the same shit. Like, oh, maybe like for example, like into black magic, and they assume they're into it. Like it'd be like shame. Like it's a shame. It's a shame. You know that song, it's a shame. No, 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 no. But anyway, I'm not on that. So, yeah. So, like, a revenge is just for stupid people. You don't have to operate from that. Like, it doesn't bring anything because it clouds you from your gut feeling, it clouds you from your intuition, it clouds you from the truth, because you'll be so obsessed with the outcome that you actually want. You want to control the whole thing. You just want to act God now. It's the same people who be like, how dare you? I trap you on this, and then you responded differently. you be like, eventually sometimes you won't even, like, for example, like for people who are actually innocent, you won't even notice that people actually trapping you until you stop engaging them, or maybe you have like I don't know how many times people try to ruin me, who, like, for me it was not like strangers, it was people that I actually know. So, and I was like, I would think about it, and they would start to be angry. They give me the angry vibe, and I was like, why are they angry? Because I said I would think about it. So, and eventually when I'm alone, I'm like, hell no, why would I do that? Like, they will try to trap you and they get mad at you. I don't know how many times are these girls, like when I was in like I think like a lot of students were actually outside. They're in a most vulnerable point. I won't say like children, because even adult, we don't know who sometimes we allow in our space until they have to take the mask off. But even though sometimes you do have that kind of like energy, like there's something's off about them, but you wouldn't put into it, or maybe you're just gonna brush it off, like, I there's no way, you know. So yeah, like, just people can just target you for no fucking reason, because they feel like your destiny is too bright, your destiny is to this, to that, as if you don't deserve that. The fact that your destiny is to that, it has nothing to do with you. It has nothing to do with you. Who the fuck do you think you are? Like, people need to just chill. They need to just fuck off. Like, who the fuck do you think you are? So, yeah, like, people, you don't have to do them dirty to do revenge on you. You just have to exist. You just have to be truthful. How many people died just because they were truthfully? How many people died just because they were truthfully? How many people died because they were whistleblowers? When you are a whistleblower, you're gonna meet a lot of enemies. Sometimes you won't even realize that your purpose you is being a whistleblower, because you like, you speaking the truth, and the truth has a way of taking mass people, like revealing who people they are. You don't have to just be in their energy, like, oh, I'm just gonna, you just have to be present, you just have to be your authentic self, and they get irritated, like, what the fuck, like, you don't have to do anything, you don't have to, like, um you don't have to read them out, you don't have to read them out, you don't even have to pick anything, like, oh, I'm just gonna pick this, I'm just gonna put them in a trap. No, you don't have to do that. You just have to be a human, breathing, being on the take, being truthfully, every time speak the truth. People don't understand the fact that there's no way you can change your life without you being truthfully. They believe maybe you have some sort of a secret source whatsoever, because like, the thing is, most of the, as much as God, our ancestors love us all, there's no way they can support your evil plan. There's no way people like God will be like, how you doing great, my son, you're doing great, my daughter, whatever, yes, you're supposed to kill that person, you're supposed to destroy that person for no fucking reason, and assume that your life will be fine. No, honey, we are fucking mirrors. Like, we are the mirrors. Whatever you do to someone, it always gonna come back to you, whether 3 times or 10 times or the same as it. But for me, so far, I've realized it usually not like the same. Sometimes, like, it can come 10 times, like, to other people, and like, whoa, that was nasty. And I was like, I was like, oh, God can be really, like, really angry, because sometimes we view it in a like, it always messful, he always like showing up in a software, but we were like, so yeah, like revenge, you don't have to do revenge, you don't have to be all in, you don't have to control the whole fucking situation. Just know that you're innocent, you did them good, you did them right, you were truthfully, and you can't help people who are not truthfully, because in their head they're twisted. Everyone who they come across who's actually not twisted, they tend to try to make you be like them. But this is something that I also noticed with the Illuminati, with devil worshippers. They don't understand, like, they'll be like hating, like, they were hating the fact that actually devil worshippers, blah blah blah. And when you're looking at them, you are like them. I don't know whether they even realize that they're actually like working for devil. I don't know, maybe they think it's something that has to be magical in a form whereby whatsoever. The fact that you act on your jealousy, the fact that you act on your envy, like you act on your hate, you act on revenge, you just like befriending devil, and devil love that. They'll be like, okay, you on my side. I'll be like, okay, that's it, because we're all fucking angels. Like, to be a fallen angel, you just have to have it, to sell your soul. Selling your soul, it's you doing something that compromise your integrity, compromise your principles, compromise your values. So obviously you're gonna be a dickhead, like everything, because like I realize a lot of people once they have like a taste of power, they believe that they have people are supposed to be under their like they have to control people, like they believe that it's like that. So when you come across someone who have authority, who have power, but you don't abuse your power, they hate you because they know what they're doing is wrong, and you are reflecting on them, and they hate the fact that, wow, this person has a lot of power but they don't abuse it. Like, it's so stupid how people actually think. So revenge is just like, it's not necessary, you don't have to do it. I know you are hurting, or maybe you whatsoever, just like, just know it will be better. People who are mean, they always fuck themselves up. They always fuck themselves up. So it's like a rubber band, like you pulling the rubber and then I stop, I remove my hand, it's gonna fight. You remove it, look, it's gonna fight. Like, it's like that. Like, there's nothing you can do about it. There's nothing you can yeah, some people, they need to like to be told that it's not necessary to be revengeful. Some you can tell, like, okay, maybe they operated from their head and then they eventually will stop. Some people, like, for the rest of their life, this is how they are. Just think about how, like, who they are, and then that's it.